I'm Charlotte McLeod with the Investing News Network, and here today with me is Mark Selby, President and CEO of RNC Minerals. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having the opportunity for the interview.
Of course. Let's start by talking about RNC's latest news. Very exciting. Major discovery at the Beta Hunt mine in Australia. So you've released several news releases over the past few weeks, and I believe there was a new one today.
Yep.
Can you share the latest news?
Sure. So we always were quite bullish on the exploration potential of the Beta Hunt mine. So back at the beginning of September, we literally broke open into a space the size of your living room and pulled out 24,000 ounces of gold out of that space, and we think we'll continue to pull more ounces out of there. Over the last few days, we've sort of provided some more color in terms of what the potential could be. And then this morning, we talked about extending the set of structures that host those high-grade gold deposits by 200 meters from where we are today. And so that first discovery came out of 5 meters. And so, being able to extend it 200 meters, again, it's not going to be that high grade the entire length, but it, obviously sets up, the potential for some, very good grade gold ounces for quite a distance.
Very exciting. This is being called a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. So you said you're very bullish. Did you start the exploration process expecting something like this, or was it a big surprise?
Always a big surprise. I think 24,000 ounces out of a living room is I think Eric Sprott characterized it as probably the highest grade, single sort of, pull out of gold he's ever heard of before. So, the mine historically, up at the contact with the nickel deposits, would pull out 700 or 800 ounces from just underneath the nickel sulfide lenses. This scale was something we'd never expect. We were expecting something in the, maybe in the low thousands of ounces to be able to find, but something of this magnitude is amazing. But the thing that's really exciting is the fact that the structure that created this high-grade gold basically covers the entire property. We have 4 shear zones that cut through it. And so we literally have, almost 10 kilometers worth of potential to go looking for more of these high-grade deposits.
Right, yeah. I was definitely going to ask if you could put it into context geologically and outline the potential for more discoveries like this or similar.
Yeah, so where we are, we're the first person in the Kalgoorlie area to be mining down in this particular rock strata, which is called the London basalt. And it's only because we're at the top of a large dome where the rock's been uplifted, so we have access to it where the rest of the camp really doesn't have access to it. And within that basalt, there's a break between 2 layers, and at that break that continues, goes for a very long distance in multiple directions. There's a layer of sulfide sediments, and it's the interaction of our gold shears with those sulfides that cause the gold to drop out and create those massive specimens that we found. So we found 24,000 ounces in basically 5 meters, and we've been kind of poking around sort of 30 or 40 meters of strike length. We now have 2 kilometers plus on one shear, and then we have 4 shears to which to go to do it. So you start multiplying numbers together, you can get some pretty high grade number of ounces with making some very conservative assumptions. 2 years ago, we pulled out some high grade samples from an area we call the Hand of Faith. To give people some context as to how big this could be. Those samples came from 3 kilometers away from this month's discovery, and on a separate shear. So,
what does it all mean for Beta Hunt, though? I know before you were thinking about selling it. I imagine now you really need to maybe rethink that.
Yeah, the for sale sign is off the lawn. Yeah. The reason we were selling is not because we always believed in the exploration potential. We just we'd stumbled a few times with the asset, and we just couldn't raise the capital we needed to really do the exploration and development that was required to unlock that potential. Obviously, now with this discovery, we'll be fully cashed up, debt free shortly, and so we're in a great position to be able to go do the drilling that we always wanted to do. So, on a go-forward basis, we think it has the potential to be a very, very large, long-life gold asset, and a great addition to the Kambalda Kalgoorlie area. So.
One thing that interested me is you had mentioned there may be collectors who want to buy parts of this rock. How would that go? Yeah, so we already do from the smaller finds underneath these nickel lenses. We sell specimens from time to time. These ones are among the largest nuggets, largest single chunks of gold ever found. And given that sort of rarity, we've already had a number of inbound inquiries and offers for those rocks. So right now we'll be looking to run an auction at some point.
to make sure we get the highest value for those particular rocks. And we're looking at potentially, we've also had inbound inquiries from a number of museums that want to display them as well. So we're just kind of putting that all together. It's still been just 2 weeks since we made that discovery. So
obviously this has been a big focus lately, but I don't want to let you go before we talk about Dumont, which is your nickel cobalt project. Sure. So recently you announced plans for an updated feasibility study.
Yep.
What does it take to bring this into production?
Yeah, I mean, Dumont, we're in the great position that Dumont's one of the few fully permitted shovel-ready nickel projects. It's updated feasibility study and completing the financing package. And the feasibility study is well underway. We're not changing that much about the project. We had a pretty robust feasibility study last time, but it just needs to be refreshed given that it was done 5 years ago. On the financing front, we got well down the path with a number of groups back in 2014-15. And so, it's just a matter of picking those conversations back up again. We now have a very deep pockets partner with Waterton, who has a lot of capital to put to bear. So, the combination of the discussions that we've had in the past with the extra capital from Waterton, we're very confident that, we can put together a financing package, for Dumont that will allow that project to come to market when the market needs it. And obviously with the EV story going and increasing demand for nickel, some of the people we're talking with would like to have 2 or 3 Dumonts come to market sooner than later, given how much nickel they think they're going to need.
Okay, well, that's all for me, unless you have any final thoughts you'd like to leave investors with.
No, that's great. I think keep following Beta Hunt.
Okay.
We're in the early innings of what could be a very large discovery.
Okay, well, thanks so much. Once again, I'm Charlotte McLeod with the Investing News Network, and this is Mark Selby with RNC Minerals.